15 years ago, on July 25th, 2024, a team of Texas doctors and scientists discovered what they thought would be a cure for MS. MS, or multiple sclerosis, is an autoimmune disease that attacks where the immune system eats away at the myelin sheath, the protective covering on a neuron. MS is a rare disease that takes thousands of lives and ruins even more. Due to the progressive nature of the disease, MS can affect a person's ability to walk, talk, see, hear, coordination, and mobility of limbs. This cure would have saved a lot of lives, but nobody could have expected what would happen when they gave it to the public. On May 25th, 2026, a woman brought her almost 2-year-old daughter to the doctors. She claimed that her daughter was having uncontrollable bouts of crying, but the mother could not even seem to console her child. After a series of tests and exams, the mother mentioned that she had MS, but her symptoms stopped after taking RX, the cure that the group of doctors had created almost 2 years prior. Concerned, the doctor decided to do an MRI on the baby to check for MS. What they found would shock the world for years to come. Lesions. The doctors found 2 large lesions and even more smaller ones scattered throughout the little girl's brain. Shocked and horrified, doctors took a sample of the cerebrospinal fluid and saw that the girl had hundreds of misshapen dead neurons. The worst part? It was not only the myelin sheath that was affected, but also the axon body. Doctors rushed to find a way to slow this aggressive form of MS, but it was no use. The little girl succumbed to her disease about 5 months later. What doctors were not aware of at the time was this was the start of something bigger, and that little girl was patient zero. As soon as patient zero came and went, hundreds followed, all with this mysterious aggressive form of MS that lowered the life expectancies of children significantly. Some made it longer than others, and some are still living, but not without dire side effects. It didn't take long for people to realize that RX was behind this, and while doctors continued to struggle, patients continued to suffer. RX came off the shelves and became a banned product, but the fight was far from over. As the years went on and many generations came and went, doctors noticed a change in our bodies. In order to keep up with this new progression of MS, the body responded in a couple of different ways. Since MS and this new, more aggressive form, AMS, were both hereditary, this meant that there was a split in anatomy. Those without the MS and AMS genes had the same anatomy as before. However, those with MS or AMS saw these new changes. So as you can see before you in this diagram here, we have the normal or non-MS AMS genes right here, and the MS and AMS genes right here. This will be the normal neuron in the body here, and versus what the neuron in a person with MS/AMS would look like. So obviously there were a lot of changes to the body, and the first was the covering on the neuron. To protect the myelin sheath and the axon body, the body created an additional protective lining that would go over the myelin sheath and would provide an extra line of defense for patients. The second trait was a change in size, shape, and the number of neurons in the body. Neurons here became smaller, their axon body was removed, and they increased the number of neurons in the body. To combat against the rogue antibodies, the body created the myeloblasts, which would travel and stay in the brain and attack any rogue antibodies that were trying to kill off the neuron. These changes allowed the disease to slow in its progression, increasing the life expectancy range. It was nowhere near the same range as before, with humans with the AMS trait living to around 60 to 65. However, it gave humanity a chance. While the world may never go back to the way it was before RX and AMS, we may still continue on, constantly evolving.